get ready because today we are going to dive deep into the world of AI that can actually hold conversation, not just, like answer simple questions, but like real back and forth like you'd have with a friend. And the key to all of this is a new research paper about something called Coral. And get this, it uses something you probably use all the time.
Okay.
Which we'll get to in a minute. But first, let's talk about why this even matters. Think about all the ways we use tech to communicate, like chatbots, virtual assistants. I mean, they're everywhere, but they're not exactly the best conversationalists, right?
Right.
And that's where Coral comes in.
Yeah, it's exciting because it's not about making AI just talk, but making it truly converse.
Yeah, exactly. And to understand that, we need to understand what a multi-turn conversation is in the world of AI. And it's not just a one-and-done question and answer.
Yeah, it's more like, imagine you're ordering a pizza. You need to give your address.
Right.
What toppings you want, maybe ask about deals, confirm the order. That's multi-turn. There's back and forth, building on what was said before, remembering context.
And that's where current chatbots kind of fall flat.
Exactly. They might repeat information.
Yeah.
Forget what you just told them 2 seconds ago, or just get totally thrown off if you change the subject even a little.
Totally.
Yeah.
So that's where Coral steps in.
Right. Think of it as like a giant test, a benchmark designed to evaluate how well AI can handle these more complex multi-term conversations. It's a data set of 8,000 information-seeking conversations, all carefully designed to push AI systems to their limits in terms of like natural dialogue.
And here's where it gets really cool. The data they use to create Coral, it's not some super secret high-tech stuff. Ready for this?
Okay.
It's Wikipedia.
That's right.
I know. I never would have thought of using Wikipedia to teach AI how to have a conversation. It's brilliant.
The researchers took titles and content from Wikipedia to create these question and answer pairs, and then they used GPT-4 to polish them up, make them sound natural, like something you'd hear in a real conversation.
So it's like turning everyone's favorite online encyclopedia into this incredible training ground for AI. Pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
But okay, Coral is a test,
right?
But what exactly is it testing for?
3 main things: retrieval, generation, and citation labeling. So retrieval is about whether the AI can find the right information from a massive amount of data, considering everything that's already been said.
So it's not just about knowing the facts, but knowing which facts are relevant at that moment.
Exactly. Then there's generation. Can the AI write a response that actually makes sense, sounds human, rather than just spitting out a list of facts?
Makes sense. You want the AI to sound like a person, not a robot reading a dictionary.
Exactly. And finally, and this is huge when it comes to trust, is citation labeling. Can the AI tell us where it got the information from so we can be sure it's accurate and reliable?
Right, because I don't want my AI giving me medical advice from some random blog post.
Exactly. Transparency is key.
So we've got the what of Coral. Now for the fun part, what did the research actually reveal? What have we learned about how good or not so good AI is at having a conversation right now?
Well, one of the most interesting findings is that sometimes those open source AI models, the ones available for free, can actually outperform the big commercial ones on certain tasks. So it's not always about who has the biggest, most expensive AI.
So David can beat Goliath in the AI world. That's pretty cool. What else stood out?
Another fascinating discovery is that sometimes giving the AI less information actually leads to better performance. Shorter, more focused input can actually help the AI concentrate on the task at hand.
It's almost like AI has an attention span too, huh?
You could say that. And speaking of attention spans, there seems to be a sweet spot when it comes to how much of the previous conversation the AI needs to remember. Too little, and it lacks context too much, and it gets overwhelmed.
Kind of like us in a long meeting, right?
Yeah.
Our brains can only process so much at once.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing bigger AI models still do better overall, right?
They do tend to have an edge, but there are diminishing returns.
Okay.
Size isn't everything. It also depends on how the AI was trained and the specific tasks it's designed for.
Okay, so Coral is really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with conversational AI, and it's using Wikipedia to do it. That's mind-blowing. But I'm dying to know more about the specifics. What kinds of conversations is this AI actually having? Can you give us an example?
Well, one of the conversations focuses on deepfakes.
Oh, wow. That's timely.
Yeah.
So does it like break down what a deepfake is?
Exactly. It starts with a general question like, what are deepfakes and how are they created? And then it dives deeper into the history, the techniques involved, and even touches on the ethical concerns.
I'm just picturing someone sitting down with an AI and having this whole conversation about deepfakes. It's amazing to think how far this technology has come.
It really is remarkable. And the way they use the structure of Wikipedia articles to create these multi-turn conversations is quite ingenious.
What do you mean?
Well, think about how Wikipedia articles are structured. They start with a broad overview and then branch out into more specific subtopics, right?
Right. It's like a tree with branches that keep spreading out.
Exactly. And the researchers use this structure to mimic how we naturally explore information in a conversation.
Okay.
You know, we don't just jump from one random topic to another. There's a flow to it.
So Coral is basically mirroring that flow by following the branching paths of Wikipedia articles.
Yeah.
It starts with a general question and then goes deeper and deeper based on the AI's responses. That's so cool.
It's like those choose-your-own-adventure books we read as kids, where each choice leads you down a different path, but it all connects back to the main story.
Exactly. It's not just stuck on a single track. But how does it decide which path to take?
That's where the different sampling strategies come in. Remember those technical terms I mentioned earlier, linear descent, sibling-inclusive descent, and random walks across multiple trees?
Yeah, they sounded pretty complex.
They are, but think of it this way. Imagine the AI exploring different branches of a tree, following different paths to find the answer. Each strategy represents a different way of navigating those branches.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So it's not just randomly hopping between topics, it's strategically choosing which branch to explore next.
Right, and what's really interesting is that Coral isn't limited to exploring just one tree at a time. Sometimes it can even jump between two different but related topics.
Wait, so it can have multiple conversations going at once?
Not exactly at once, but through a method called dual tree random walk, it can smoothly transition between two different topics that share some common ground.
Okay, so it's not just randomly jumping between cats and quantum physics. There's still a connection there.
Exactly, and that's what makes these conversations so fascinating. They can be informative and surprising, just like real human interactions.
This is amazing. It sounds like we're on the verge of having AI that can really hold its own in a conversation.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
But of course, there are still challenges to overcome.
Like what?
Well, one of the key takeaways from the research is that even the most advanced AI systems still struggle with certain aspects of multi-turn conversations, especially when they get longer.
Ah, yes. The dreaded long context problem.
Exactly.
It's like AI has a limited attention span, just like us.
Exactly. As the conversation goes on, it becomes harder for the AI to keep track of all the information and use it effectively. It might start repeating itself, going off on tangents, or even forgetting what the main topic was.
So what's the solution? How do we help AI get over this conversational hurdle?
That's where things get even more technical. Researchers are exploring something called conversation compression.
Conversation compression. What's that?
Think of it like taking notes during a lecture. You don't write down every single word the professor says.
Right.
You focus on the key points, the main takeaways.
Right. Otherwise, my notes would be longer than the textbook.
Exactly. And that's what conversation compression is all about. It's about finding ways to summarize or simplify the conversation history so the AI can process it more easily.
So instead of giving the AI the entire transcript of the conversation, we give it a condensed version, the highlights, so to speak.
That's the idea. And there are different ways to do that,
Okay.
which we can explore further.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. Let's dive into those strategies in part 2.
That's good.
But first, a quick recap. We've talked about Coral, this amazing new benchmark that uses Wikipedia to test how well AI can handle multi-turn conversations. We've explored the 3 main things it tests: retrieval, generation, and citation. And we've even touched on some of the challenges like the long context problem.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But it's all incredibly exciting.
It is. And I can't wait to unpack those compression strategies in our next segment. So stay with us.
All right. So you ready to delve into the world of conversation compression?
Absolutely. It's like AI Cliff's Notes for conversation. Sign me up.
Well, it's not quite as simple as just highlighting the main points.
Right.
But you got the right idea. The researchers tested 3 main strategies for condensing that conversation history: last response, rewrite, and LLM summarization.
Okay, let's break those down. Last response sounds pretty straightforward. Just give the AI the last thing that was said.
Exactly.
Like, okay, here's the last sentence. Just go from there.
It's like saying, all right, AI, forget everything we talked about before.
Right.
Just focus on this last bit of information and go from there.
Simple but effective, maybe? What about rewrite? That sounds a bit more complex.
Yeah, so with rewrite, The current question gets transformed based on the whole conversation up to that point.
Okay.
It's like rephrasing the question in a way that includes all the important context from the previous exchanges.
So it's like seamlessly weaving the past conversation into the present question. That sounds pretty clever. And then there's LLM summarization. I'm guessing that one involves a large language model.
You got it. It's basically like having a super smart AI assistant listening to the conversation and then creating like a concise summary of the key points, just like a human note taker would.
So which of these strategies reigned supreme?
Well, it's not a simple answer, as each approach had its strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
You might be surprised to hear that even the simplest one, last response, produced decent results. It seems a lot of the crucial information is often contained in the most recent exchange.
Sometimes simplicity wins the day. But I'm guessing the more complex approaches still perform better overall.
They did consistently outperform the others, showing that incorporating the conversation history directly into the question really helps the AI understand what's being asked.
It's all about giving the AI the right clues, isn't it?
Yep.
And what about LLM summarization? Did using a large language model to create summaries live up to the hype?
It definitely showed a promise, especially for tasks that require a deeper understanding of the conversation's nuances. However, it also proved to be the most computationally expensive approach.
So it's a trade-off. Performance versus efficiency.
Exactly. And that's a key challenge researchers are grappling with. It's like a delicate balancing act between giving the AI enough information to understand the context without overloading its circuits.
It's like finding that sweet spot, the perfect amount of information to keep the AI engaged and on track without making its head spin.
You nailed it. And that's one of the key insights Coral highlights. The need for more sophisticated methods for managing information flow in multi-turn conversations.
Okay.
It's not just about making AI talk, it's about making AI understand, remember, and respond in a way that truly mimics human dialogue.
So we're talking about AI that can not only answer your questions, but also remember what you talked about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Understand the subtle nuances of your tone and respond in a way that feels natural and engaging.
Precisely. It's about creating AI that can truly converse.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. It's like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of communication where the lines between human and AI interaction become increasingly blurred.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And a little bit daunting at the same time, right? Because if AI can become this good at conversation, what does that mean for us?
That's a big question. What are the implications of AI that can keep up with us, challenge our ideas, and maybe even teach us something new?
It raises all sorts of questions about the future of communication, relationships, and even our own understanding of what it means to be human.
It's a lot to unpack, but it's a conversation we need to have. So where do we go from here? What are the next steps in this quest for truly conversational AI?
Well, one area ripe for exploration is developing even more nuanced compression strategies.
Okay.
We need to go beyond simply shortening the input and actually teach AI to understand the underlying relationships between different pieces of information.
So instead of just giving the AI a condensed version of the conversation, we need to help it grasp the meaning, the intent, the emotions behind the words.
Exactly. Think about how you process a conversation. You don't just remember the words, you remember the meaning, the intent, the emotions behind them. That's the level of understanding we need to strive for in AI.
That's a tall order. But it sounds like there are some promising avenues for getting there.
Absolutely. And another exciting area of research focuses on developing new ways to evaluate conversational AI. Traditional metrics like BLEU and ERG, which focus on word overlap, aren't always the best indicators of true conversational quality.
Wait, back up for a second. What are BLEU and WRGISH?
Think of them as automated ways to score how similar a machine-generated text is to a human-written text. They're often used in machine translation to assess the accuracy of a translation.
Okay, I see. So basically they're like grading rubrics for AI.
Exactly. But the problem is, a response can score high on those metrics and still feel awkward or unnatural in a conversation.
They don't capture the subtle nuances of human dialogue.
Right, because it's not just about what the AI says, it's about how it says it.
Right.
The tone, the timing, the emotional intelligence behind the words.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. We need evaluation methods that can assess those subtle aspects of conversation. Things like humor, empathy, even the ability to read between the lines.
So we need to teach AI to be more than just a talking dictionary. We need to teach it to be a conversationalist.
That's the ultimate goal. And with tools like Coral, we're getting closer every day.
This is all so fascinating. It feels like we're on the brink of something truly transformative.
It does, doesn't it?
You know,
But as with any powerful technology, we need to approach it thoughtfully and responsibly.
absolutely. We need to be mindful of the potential risks as well as the rewards. But honestly, I'm more excited than worried. The possibilities are just too incredible to ignore. I agree. And I think Coral is a great example of how AI research can not only advance technology, but also spark important conversations about the future we're creating.
So it's not just about making AI smarter, it's about making us smarter too.
Exactly. By pushing the boundaries of what AI can do, we're forced to re-examine our own assumptions about communication, intelligence, and even consciousness.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to humanity, challenging us to think deeper and reach higher.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think that's what makes this field so captivating.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the intricacies of conversation compression to the philosophical implications of truly conversational AI.
We have.
But there's one more thing I'm curious about.
Okay.
What are some of the specific areas where researchers are focusing their efforts? What are the next frontiers in conversational AI?
Well, one really interesting area is
Okay, so spill the beans. What's this fascinating area of research you were about to tell us about?
well, one area that's really shooting up is personalized conversational AI. Imagine AI that can adapt to your individual communication style and preferences, and even your emotional state.
Wait, so instead of a one-size-fits-all chatbot, we could have AI that's tailored to us.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
It's like having a conversation partner who knows you inside and out, anticipates your needs, and can adjust their communication style accordingly.
So if I'm someone who likes to get straight to the point, the AI wouldn't waste time with small talk. But if I'm feeling a bit more chatty, it would be happy to engage in some friendly banter.
That's the idea. Personalized AI could revolutionize the way we interact with technology, making it feel more natural, intuitive, and even enjoyable.
Yeah, I can see it now. Personalized AI assistants helping us with everything from scheduling appointments to brainstorming creative ideas to even providing emotional support.
The possibilities are truly limitless. But of course, personalization also raises important ethical considerations. Well, for one, we need to ensure that personalized AI doesn't reinforce existing biases or create echo chambers.
That's a great point. We don't want AI that only tells us what we want to hear or confirms our existing beliefs. We need AI that challenges us to think critically and broaden our perspectives.
Exactly. And there are also concerns about privacy and data security. If AI is collecting vast amounts of personal data to personalize our experiences, we need to make sure that data is protected and used responsibly.
Absolutely. It's all about striking that balance between personalization and privacy. We want AI that feels like a trusted friend, not a creepy stalker.
Well said. It's a complex issue, but it's one that researchers and developers are actively working on.
So it sounds like we're on the cusp of some pretty amazing breakthroughs in conversational AI. But I have to ask, what about the bigger picture? What are the long-term implications of AI that can communicate like humans?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How will truly conversational AI impact our society, our relationships, our very sense of self?
It's mind-boggling to think about. On the one hand, I can see AI becoming an invaluable tool for communication, collaboration, and even creativity. But on the other hand, I can also see the potential for misuse, manipulation, and even displacement.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a double-edged sword, and it's crucial that we navigate this technological evolution with both excitement and caution.
So what's the takeaway here? What should we be doing to prepare for this future where AI is a conversational partner in our lives?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed and engaged. We need to be actively involved in the conversation about how AI is developed and used, ensuring that it aligns with our values and aspirations as a society.
That's a powerful message. It's not just about passively observing the rise of AI. It's about actively shaping the future we want to see.
Exactly. And that's what makes this feel so exciting. It's not just about technological innovation. It's about human evolution.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive. We've explored the fascinating world of Coral, learned about the challenges and breakthroughs in conversational AI, and even pondered the philosophical implications of this rapidly evolving technology.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you, and I hope you, dear listener, are leaving this conversation with a sense of both wonder and responsibility.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. Until next time, stay curious.